Diddy's prison phone call just leaked and it was posted by Social Details. This is allegedly a call that he had, and there's a lot of talk, a lot of code words in there, so we're gonna listen to it together. Check it out.
Do not entertain none of this nonsense and nothing over the phone. I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the...
In our Law and Justice lead, another shocking turn in the case of Sean Diddy Combs. Prosecutors, as you know, say that the music mogul committed some unspeakable acts. And now they're saying that he's engaging in witness tampering from behind bars. How do they know that? Well, through evidence that Diddy's attorneys say the feds should never have been able to obtain. They are accusing federal prosecutors of what they call outrageous misconduct.
Do not entertain none of this nonsense and nothing over the phone. I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza. The what? All the boxes left over for the pizza.
The drama around Diddy's legal troubles just took a shocking twist. Leaked prison phone calls reveal he's been trying to influence witnesses and manipulate their testimonies, even from behind bars. This bombshell comes after prosecutors denied him bail for the third time, citing concerns about witness tampering. With these calls now out in the open, the seriousness of Diddy's actions has reached a whole new level.
They say the rap mogul made from behind bars to influence everyone from potential jury to alleged victims.
The boss, dudes is lost. Don't pay cause I'm iced out, I'ma cool off.
This morning, prosecutors leveling new accusations against Sean Diddy Combs, saying he poses a serious risk of danger, even from behind bars, as he awaits trial. In a court filing late Friday, prosecutors detailing the steps they say Combs is taking while locked up to reach out to prospective witnesses and influence public opinion to affect potential jurors.
The accusations within the prosecution's motion to deny bail are very serious and will be considered very heavily by the judge, because the judge is going to want to ensure that he is not influencing witnesses and or contacting anyone to influence a trial in any way.
Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges of racketeering, transportation to engage in and trafficking. He denies any wrongdoing. The government now asking a judge not to grant Combs' third request for bail, in which the music mogul offers a $50 million bail package, citing new evidence and changed circumstances.
Swimming in women with their own condominiums, 5+5s who drive millenniums.
Prosecutors pointing to recorded phone calls from jail. They say Combs asked family members to reach out to potential victims and witnesses, urging them to create narratives to influence a jury pool. Allegations that could land Combs in even more trouble.
Diddy's jail calls can be used at trial if they are able to support the prosecution's case in chief. They can also provide grounds for additional criminal charges to be filed against him.
Personal notes that allegedly contain attorney-client defense strategies, were seized from Diddy's New York jail cell. Combs' legal team calls that search a violation of his constitutional rights, and they're demanding an evidentiary hearing. Not so fast, though. Prosecutors defend the seizure. They say the notes were obtained during a nationwide, pre-planned sweep of multiple prison facilities. They claim the notes were reviewed by a filter team, someone not involved in the case, to remove privileged materials before they were turned over to prosecutors. Now, prosecutors are arguing the notes that they got contain evidence that Diddy may have tried to influence witnesses, alleging that he paid a witness after making a public statement. Diddy's team strongly denies these allegations. This development comes as Diddy, who has pleaded not guilty to trafficking, racketeering, and related charges, is set to appear in court Friday. This would be his third attempt to be released on bond. The case is now raising serious questions about due process and pretrial detainee rights. To clear up some of these questions for us, Joey Jackson, criminal defense attorney and CNN legal analyst. Joey, just to remind everybody, allegations are is not a conviction, and Diddy is presumed innocent until proven guilty. But the big question here is it legal for the prosecutors to seize personal notes from a pre-trial detainee, even if a filter team has gone through them and taken out anything privileged? And also explain what a filter team is first, if you could.
Yeah, so Jake, this discussion, no matter whether you love Diddy, don't like him, think he's guilty, think he's not guilty, that's not the issue. The issue is the propriety of the conduct of the government as alleged. Everyone is entitled to a fair trial. Now, the first question comes, well, should the government have been searching his cell? Do they have these searches in jails? Is that appropriate? I think the general answer is yes. They're going to have searches of various detainee cells for safety reasons and other reasons. So as a result of that, expect and anticipate that your cell will be searched. The next question becomes, well, if there's information with respect to that search that deals with your case, that is attorney work product, right? Not attorney work product, but certainly attorney client. When you're visiting a client in a jail, you have discussions about your case, about witnesses, about strategy, about issues. You may take notes or do anything you like, either with your attorneys or when you go back. Now, if the government has gotten that specific information, the answer becomes, well, why and how? That leads me to the question about a filter team. If you get information, and it could be attorney-client privilege, right? You should have the right to speak to your attorney about everything and anything, but it should be filtered. There are a government team. In fact, the Department of Justice created a team in 2020 to do just this, filter information, so that that team is not part of the case, not part of the prosecution. You look for attorney-client privilege information, you parse it out, then you give it to prosecutors. What was the process followed? What was the protocol followed? Was it followed properly or appropriately? We don't know. That's why a hearing is necessary. That should never get into the hands of prosecutors. It's unfair, it's inappropriate, shouldn't happen, and that raises serious questions. That's what a filter team did. Did they abdicate their responsibility? We'll see at a hearing.
This all coming on the heels, of course, of a recent court filing where prosecutors were citing jail phone records. They claimed that Diddy used the phone accounts of at least 8 inmates to evade monitoring and to make calls that they allege are also witness tampering. How does his defense team respond to that as they're trying to get Diddy released on bond?
Listen, that's a question of fact, and either the government has the goods on that and he was attempting to do it or not. That's an allegation. That's something else that could be addressed at a hearing or not addressed. But I think the main and core question is, if you have materials that's prepared with your defense lawyers, how do prosecutors get that? Should prosecutors have gotten that? Should the defense team have been given notice to object to that prior to it being given to prosecutors? And so again, no matter what you believe in his guilt, we have to have a process where people believe, where the people believe in their government and their government's not going to overreach. And I think there's a critical question here that'll be determined not by me, but at a hearing as to whether or not those protocols were followed, whether the search team or filter team followed the appropriate steps and parsed out the information that they should have.
It seems Diddy didn't stop at phone calls. Sources say he used various methods to influence those connected to the case. An attorney for one of his victims has even confirmed that Diddy made numerous attempts to reach out, trying to sway the case in his favor.
What up? How you listen? Do not entertain none of this nonsense and nothing over the phone. I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes left over from the pizza. All the boxes. Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about. Yeah. Did you reach out yet? Nah, Bob. He ghosting. I just want to do it. These tweet now because I'm in here. It's all good. You about to get out on bail. Everybody out there quiet as well. Yeah, exactly. We gonna let them have their little fun, but I'm still gonna have the last laugh. About all these lawsuits though, Pop. Ain't none of them getting shit. I ain't worth nothing. Ain't got shit in my name anyway. Don't even worry about it. But the money hungry.
So one of the reasons that Diddy's been denied bail is a threat of him tampering with witnesses. His lawyers dismissed that threat, saying prosecutors have failed to provide evidence of the suspected tampering. How real is this threat, and could it impact the jury selection process and therefore delay the trial?
I think it's more so about him being a flight risk than tampering. We have seen some evidence where he, specifically with one of the members of Dirty Money, as we all know, Don Richard had filed a lawsuit against Diddy. And then the other member of that Dirty Money group came out and essentially undermined her claim and said, oh, well, I didn't see anything. I don't know anything about this. And then we later found out that Diddy called her 54 times in a row. So I think that those situations lend to maybe some issues with tampering. And I do feel like there are victims who are scared to come forward, including my client. She was very nervous about if he was going to get bail this week. And once I told her, and then come after people, including her and some of the other individuals, and she was very relieved when he did not receive bail. So I think the issue is a combination of things, not only tampering, but more so of a flight risk.
Yeah, we've seen sort of two waves, a first wave and then a second wave after bail was denied the second time. Do you think the judge's firm denial of bail multiple times now is indicative of how the trial is actually going to go too, as well as potential sentencing?
I do think that it's indicative of how the trial will go. In a lot of situations, you know, again, in America, we have innocent until proven guilty, but then there's a certain amount of guilty and a certain amount of innocent. So I think we're leaning more towards the guilty side just because of what we've seen in the past with Mr. Combs' behavior, what we've seen in terms of the sheer amount of plaintiffs in civil court who have filed cases against him, as well as, like I said before, him being a flight risk and having the means and wherewithal to actually take flight and leave the country so he doesn't have to face his crimes in criminal court. So I think taking the totality of the circumstances, the court is being careful to make sure they don't do something that allows Mr. Combs to avoid justice.
Now, is this right that Diddy's lawyers have accused the government of leaking the 2016 surveillance video of him beating up his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura? Diddy's team saying the government has been, quote, strategically leaking confidential grand jury material and information, including the 2016 Intercontinental videotape, in order to prejudice the public and potential jurors against Mr. Combs. So what do you make of this? What impact could this have on the trial?
Well, to my understanding, Mr. Combs purchased that tape from the hotel employee when he, for a certain amount of money. I'm not exactly sure. I've heard a bunch of different numbers, but he purchased that tape. So how can they make that assertion, his attorneys make that assertion, when that person still probably has the tape? The person he purchased it from, I'm sure he didn't just destroy the tape. That doesn't make any sense. I'm sure he retained a copy. So to point the finger at the government, I think, is wildly convenient. It reminds me of them talking about Costco selling baby oil, when anybody with a Costco membership, including me, knows they do not sell anything. And anybody in Miami knows there isn't even a Costco in the city of Miami. So I think they're just throwing stuff at the wall and hoping that it sticks, because they know that their client is guilty and they're just trying to do the best that they can with a guilty client.
In an interesting twist, there's another phone call making waves. Diddy's son recently shared a video on Instagram of Diddy speaking to his kids from jail, with the children wishing him a happy birthday. While some found the moment heartfelt, others, like Gan, have called it a public stunt aimed at gaining sympathy and shaping public opinion.
All right, sing it. Happy birthday, Daddy. Happy birthday to... Keep going, bro.
Happy birthday to Daddy.
Yay!
We love you too.
Love you, Pastor.
I can't wait to see y'all.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see y'all. And I'm just want to say I'm proud of y'all, especially the girls. I mean, all of y'all. Just for being strong. Thank y'all for being strong, and thank y'all for being by my side and supporting me. I love y'all. I got the best family in the world. My birthday, I'm happy. Thank you, y'all giving me this call. Thank you very much. I love y'all.
Love you more. Can't wait to see you in a couple of days.
I'll see y'all in a couple of days. What you say?
I love you, Daddy.
I love you too, baby.
She eat it, yo, Pops.
Hi, we're right here.
That's right here on the phone too. Pops, love eating all your cake, so you're not gonna have none left.
She's literally digging her face in it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to buy you a new one. Yo, she's face down in the cake right now. Say hey, Chance.
We love you.
Chance is right here too to get hit. On the phone.
Thank you, baby. I love you.
I want to cry because this motherfucker is such a narcissist. He would put his kids through that type of shit and then want to post something like that, like he gonna get some sympathy from somebody. People ain't sympathizing with him. And he gonna use the kids like that so they can gain sympathy. That shit is crazy to me, bro. You understand? If it was really sincere, it would nothing that the world would need to see. Now, he sound decent. And I guess he gonna come to the reality, that's where he gonna be for a very long time. But to put your kids through some shit like that, man, and then wanna post it. That's some real. He gotta understand those kids is going through and gonna be going through enough, not having a mother and a father there. But you ain't gotta post that shit for the world to see it. And the only reason they post that because he told them to. Now I heard something about Christians supposed to be running his IG now. But we all know he ain't the bird left on the fence. That kid brains is fried already about some of the shit that he does. Some of the shit that he say. Well, he's gonna be running the IG. That's what I heard. I think he even posted that himself. But it's sad, bro. Don't put your kids there. They don't understand the magnitude of what he's going through because maybe he got them thinking it's a lie. But if it's 10% of the people that's telling the truth in any of those lawsuits, that means you got 12 victims. If it's 10% of the people who telling the truth in those lawsuits and the information they got, you got 12 victims. 12 people that was hurt behind the bullshit behind him. Don't victimize your kids too, bro.